Well, now we're joined by Baraka Sani, who is the Commissioner for Agriculture in Kano State. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Good morning.
Well, yesterday we were talking about states, how they feature in all of this, but you're here at the summit. What's your expectation, or how is your state involved in this?
Well, first of all, I'm sure that for the first time, agriculture is getting the much-needed attention it deserves. You know, it's one of the most reliable sectors that the country should have to focus on because it's more sustainable. As regards the performance as assessed by the board of the NESG yesterday, on the side of Kano State, we are looking at it from the perspective of what did we come to do, because we are tenured. So you cannot say you have done everything, but at the beginning of our tenure, we decided to attack three major areas in terms of policy. And the first is to create employment using agriculture, because we know that unemployment has been a pressing issue in the state, especially as regards the youth and the vulnerable women, you know. And the second is revolved around the food security issue. You know, trying to create more in terms of production so that we can feed the population. Every day the state keeps getting more and more visitors, and we have to work towards sustainable food security, you know, policy. Then the third is to increase the income generation of the farmers, and you know, the money coming to the pocket of the farmers, as well as using agriculture to increase our GDP. I mean the internally generated revenue. Of course, by implication, it will all amount to that. So immediately we were inaugurated, the Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, decided to start sector by sector, you know, tackling the issues. And in the area of employment generation, the first thing he did was to create 6 capacity building institutes revolving around the agricultural sector. That's why we saw the creation of the Poultry Institute at Tukwi. We saw the creation of the Livestock Institute at Bagauda, the Fisheries Institute at Bagauda, Horticulture Institute at Bagauda, Farm Mechanization Institute at Kadawa, and then finally the Irrigation Institute at Kadawa also. These institutes have turned the pages of, you know, the whole state as regards employment generation, because as it stands today, not only did they provide employment, but they also helped us with the issue of gender mainstreaming, you know, revolving around women, creating employment for women. Because one of the schools, the Poultry Institute, is solely dedicated into training women on smallholder poultry program. And we have so far been able to train 2,800 women right there in the Poultry Institute. And the issue of, you know, it's not just about the training, it's an all-encompassing program. Because at that institute, we train women who are not literate. And we don't only train them on how to, you know, rear poultry, backyard poultry, no. That is the avenue they come with their children. Some women come with 6 children, some with 4 children. And we decided that we have to put them also on the course to a rich nutrition for their children. So while we are at the one hand treating the aspect of employment and reducing poverty, we are at the same time kind of broadening their spectrum to understand the reason why they have to send their children to school.
Do we have, pardon me, Button, do you have policies to galvanize this gender mainstreaming, and how is that coming on?
Well, for now, what we did is a pronouncement. We did not kind of pass a law, but that is what we are trying to do. First of all, to sustain the institute so that even after the tenure of His Excellency, another government that comes with a different opinion may not wipe away these institutes. Right now, the bill is under consideration at the National Assembly. And once this is done, I'm sure it will go in a long way towards impacting positively. And second is to include the aspect of, you know, gender mainstreaming and women empowerment in our agricultural policy, which is also coming on soon, because that's what we are trying to tidy up and, you know, present, like a document that says, yes, we have to train we have to train women, we have to empower. But even without the policy document, you see, when the chief executive comes with a view and a policy, it's easy for him to implement it because he controls the executive power. So even during the campaign, he promised to empower women, and the government has been doing that. Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has been empowering women with 10,000 every week, and that is why we have been able to do 120,000 women on small value chains in agriculture. Because in the rural area, that's all some women need. They don't need so much money, you know. They just need something to grow up on, you know, to further, you know, develop and make it into something. But in the institute, we empower them with about 70,000 naira worth, or 140,000 naira, which has been the maximum empowerment at the institute.
How many people does the institute take?
We take 600 per session. And
all of them, I mean, because you mentioned different institutes.
Yes,
so
for the fisheries,
together.
For the Fisheries Institute, we do 400 at a time. For the Poultry Institute, we do 600 at a time. For the Livestock Institute, we do 132 at a time.
So in all of that, we're looking at about just about a little over 1,000.
No, we have done over 5,000 when you put them together, because at the Farm Mechanization Institute, we have done 1,700. You see, it is the method that we use in selection that matters. What we do in the state is a fair representation of all the 484 wards. So if we are taking 3, we have to take 3 from each and every word before we come back to the first word. So that's why...
What I was trying to get very clearly is how many people, what's the capacity of all the institutes put together at any given point in time. So it's not about, you know, how long it's been on and how many people you've been able to train, but how many people you've been able to take on, or you can take on at once.
Okay, when we add up, let's say we have 600 with the poultry, 400, that's 1,000. Then 132, that's 1,132, right? Then we have 400 with the Farm Mechanization Institute. That's 1,000, about 1,600, yeah? Okay. Then the 2 institutes are yet to open. That is the Horticulture Institute and the Irrigation Institute.
How often does the training, do you have a specific period for training?
What we did during the budget preparation, we all said we are going to train 6 times or 7 times. Some of them we said 7 times in a year. Some of them we said 6 times in a year. And this is September. I mean, this is September. We have virtually exhausted that projection. So, but he's going to train more. But the most striking factor and the most pleasing factor about it is that when the Honorable Minister for Agriculture visited Kano State and saw these women in, you know, training, he promised to use those institutes for the benefit of that part of the country, because that is what the federal government is also trying to do. And the most successful policies have been those that have been built, you know, into those existing, not just bringing a new one that has to have a new structure. And the minister was wise enough to say, okay, we are going to make use of what you have on ground. Mm-hmm. And you know, with this, we are now going to train for the first time the whole representatives from the northern part of the country at the Fisheries Institute. The first training has been approved by the federal government, and my governor has agreed to allow the use of the institute for the benefit of all. Also, the Poultry Institute is going to train 600 women from the northern part of the country. And also, my governor has agreed to that.
So what you're looking at is having small holding institutes, because a host of people a host of state governments have been going around looking for big-time investors to have this large, huge farms. I mean, be it in animal husbandry or, you know, also focusing on the land as well. You know, or people who are going to be making finished products from some of these things to come and invest in the state. Are you also looking at that, or your major focus is empowering the rural farmers?
Well, I must be truthful to you. We are looking from both, because the state's main economy is agriculture. While the large-scale agriculture has its own merits, but at the same time, we have to take care of our population, and we have to give them a sense of belonging, make them useful to themselves. So we are faced with a double-edged sword. On the one side, we're looking for investors. On the other side, we have to, irrespective of investors or no investors, support our people to live a decent life, upgrade their living standards, give them a sense of belonging, give our youth a future. And that is from that angle. And agriculture seems to be the only sector that can do this, and we can never exhaust that opportunity.